Karla, hey, congratulations on your new short film, Love Jamie.
Thank you so much.
More of a congratulations. It's being showcased at the PBS American Masters pretty soon. Tell us how you feel about that.
I'm so excited. I mean, it's the perfect platform for our film, for Jamie to be recognized in this way on a series that's been around for decades. PBS is also just very close to my heart. Almost all my work is for public television, and so I'm excited that her work can just be seen by anyone, across the country. It's huge, and it's not something I dreamed would have happened when we first started filming.
So so
So.
t so tell us what sparked you to do this documentary in the first place?
Um, it was actually my DP and the producer of the film, who's also just a friend and a longtime colleague. And he was actually working on a completely different project and filming with the gallery owner, who's in the film, and had mentioned Jamie's art to Andrew. And then Andrew shared it with me, and I was just really so struck by the quality of her work and what she was able to create under such harsh circumstances. And the colors were just amazing to me, and just the detail of the artwork that she was able to create. But then it was actually Dan had shared a letter that Jamie had written her, and that's really the moment that I was like, oh, maybe this could be like a film, because her voice in that letter was so striking. Just the compassion that she showed for Dan, how she talked about her life, and her arts and her dreams. That is when I realized, like, oh, she's just such a compelling person. And then we just reached out to Jamie. I mean, reached out to Gabriel first, who kind of vetted us and is very protective of Jamie. And then, yeah, we got their blessing to make the film.
Wow. So it appears Jamie writes a lot of letters and has a
Yes.
way with words.
Yes, and she handwrite, well, she used to. So only recently they've made it all digital, but she handwrites all of her letters, and she has like this beautiful penmanship. And yeah, she's written hundreds of letters to Gabriel, which become kind of um the basis of the film. That's how their relationship grows from these letters and phone calls.
So 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 how did you manage to connect yourself to Gabriel, and what did you say to convince him to be a part of this since he was kind of hesitant in the first place?
I think um I think, it was a process, and it took many conversations. And because we weren't even really sure what the film was going to be or how we were even going to make the film. And I think it was important for me to make sure they knew that, there's like a building of trust, right? And that takes time. And I see my role as a documentary filmmaker as someone who's trying to create empathy. And and that's what I try to do with this work. And um I think it was also just kind of reassuring them that I wanted this film to be their voices only, so it's only told through Jamie and Gabriel's words. I think also, like, we listened a lot to how they see themselves. So for instance, Jamie doesn't want to be known as someone who is incarcerated. She wants to be known first as an artist. And one of the things, originally we were thinking, oh, we would go film her in prison. And we decided not to do that in the end. I mean, we had even contacted the press person down there, because that image of her being in prison would have colored the entire film. That's what viewers would have been left with. That's not how we wanted people to get to know Jamie. And I don't think she wants to be defined by this one bad thing that she did, 30 years ago. And so we wanted people to get to know her through her art, through her words, through her voice. And I think, relaying that to Gabriel, and really listening to how they see themselves, and then incorporating those ideas into the film was important, in terms of like bringing them along.
Um, what about what letters and what passages to be read out loud for your film? How did you come to those decisions?
That was actually the hardest part because there were so many letters to choose from and hours of phone calls. I mean, I had no idea those phone calls existed until we started talking with Gabriel and they agreed to do the film. And it was such an amazing find. I mean, so it was about finding those moments in the letters and the moments in the phone calls where you can hear their relationship in the like cracking of their voice, or just you can hear how they're feeling. And so it was, we had to like listen to all those phone calls to find those moments to kind of subtly show how this relationship grew from something that was like more formal, pen pal, to cementing into this chosen family. And that became like my first film was more of a verite film that I made, and that all the surprises happen in the moment while you're filming. And this was finding those moments, the crux of the film within this kind of archive.
Now, when you first started, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It was during the pandemic, or possibly towards the end of the pandemic.
It was in 2022.
Oh, okay, okay. So the situation has actually calmed down, and that explains why the art show seems to be a little bit more open in this case.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was all everything. Yeah, we started filming right away in the spring of 2022, and the show was in the fall of 2022. So it was a very quick turnaround.
Now, tell us about incorporating the art show into your film. Was that just a mere coincidence that the timing was just perfect, that there was an upcoming art show for her?
I mean, just to reveal sort of the filmmaking process, we kind of knew that that was coming down the road. And so it was a matter of building towards that moment. I will say that we chose to, because we kind of knew where we were going, we really had a lot of intention in how we were filming everything leading up to that point, which, because this film is about art, because it's about, we really, wanted to show dignity was sort of the main theme. We were very careful in how we framed every single shot. We spent a lot of time composing what the shots would look like. We wanted to just be very beautiful and have these very close-ups and shots. And almost everything was shot on a tripod, except for that opening where we wanted to feel alive and movement, and to really show like, how her community has miraculously grown to this group of people who are now all experiencing Jamie's art, as opposed to one person, Gabriel, reading one letter. So, yeah, I don't know if I answered your question now, but
Were there challenges itself, which art to display for your film, since you also have a limited amount of time to show off Jamie's arts.
I really let the what she was saying kind of dictate what we were seeing because we had so much art to choose from. And so, yeah, I kind of would like listen to like if she was talking about, wanting to call Gabriel on her birthday. And so I tried to find artwork that I felt kind of represented a feeling of a birthday, which was these beautiful sunflowers that she had painted. So I was really trying to let whatever we were hearing sort of dictate what artwork we were seeing. Um, yeah, so that was kind of like how I decided which pieces to show.
How since you were there physically, how did you interpret Jamie's arts?
I think if you looked at a lot of her work, most of her work, you would not know that this is being made from someone who is sitting in a cell in Texas. And that was very striking to me, that as she was presenting work that was showing someone who is out and proud and, just joyful. And her work also has a lot of humor in it as well. And pain too. There's a lot of pain in there too, but it's also just a lot of it has such an affirmation for life. And I think for someone who is serving a life sentence, like for her to still have that outlook and to still be able to create that kind of work was just really amazing to me.
Of course, trans art is something that a lot of us don't see. Even, even today, Pride Month being in just a couple of days away, and so on, and how society has changed, we still don't see a lot of trans art out there, and that makes Jamie unique in a
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I mean, she will be the first trans visual artist featured on American Masters since, the what I think the show started in 1986. So it's pretty amazing that it's going to be out there for everyone to see. Yeah.
Now, how much debate did you actually have of when to end your film? Because I guess the timing of things, you could have waited to see what happens to Jamie a little bit later, or where the relationship goes with between Jamie and Gabriel. How much debate did you actually have saying, okay, this is enough, or do we want to wait to, 5 to 10 years from now? It every documentary is different.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, it's funny for me, there wasn't that debate. I had that with my last film because we shot for 3 years. And this, we were filming in the gallery and we were recording with Jamie. She had called, on the phone, and she said, I feel I'm almost free. She said the last words of the film. And I was like, that's going to be the end of the film. And I knew right then and there, that's how the film is going to end. So I feel like, yeah, we knew that that was always going to be the end as soon as I heard those words. But who knows, what her next chapter will bring. I mean, we could start filming again and make it into something longer. I don't know. And I'm definitely open to that. So we'll see.
So even though you didn't visit Jamie in prison, you did speak to Jamie or possibly visited her later on.
Yes, yeah, I spoke with her over the last couple of years. We've written many letters. We now call each other sister. Um, and then I did go with Gabriel on their first contact visit ever back in February. So I've seen her twice in person now this year in the Houston area, which is where I grew up and where Jamie grew up as well. So
Wow, that's pretty awesome. So you have physical letters and possibly artwork?
I don't have art. Well, I have like little tiny drawings, but soon after we started writing to each other, they switched to a digital medium. So they weren't receiving any mail, like you had to email. So we have lots of emails from each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh well, that's how technology and times actually changed.
Yeah.
Now, of course, as not part of the documentary, can you talk about the post what's the situation like for them post documentary?
Yeah, so let's see, what happened to her back in February? She did suffer a stroke, and that's when we actually saw her during that time. She's improving every day, and then she was granted parole in March, a full year early. We were not expecting that at all, and it was just so exciting to find that out, but we weren't sure what the release date was going to be, and we just found out on last Friday, I believe, Gabriel got the notice that she was going to be released tomorrow. So Gabriel has just landed. I just got a text from Gabriel. They just landed in the Houston area and is going to be picking her up tomorrow, and she's going to be out. And I can't believe it. And I wish I could be there. I'm so upset that I can't be there, but I'm planning to go in July once she's all settled. And I'm bringing a camera. So yeah.
Trying to film that moment, especially the fact that Gabriel and Jamie's relationship is still going so strong today.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. So I'm hoping to get some selfies tomorrow morning.
Most excellent. So Karla, let me start wrapping things up with you. So what's up next for you after Love Jamie?
I am actually currently working on a feature film for PBS called The Gas Station Attendant, and it's based on phone calls that I recorded with my father when he was working nights at a gas station 20 years ago and started telling me his memories of growing up in India as a street kid. And so this is sort of a personal kind of essay, more experimental film that I'm doing. So that is what I'm working on currently. That'll be out hopefully early next year.
Now, you mentioned you've done other documentaries before. Why do you love, doing these type of films?
I was working in as a journalist for many years for different news magazines, mostly on PBS, and I loved that work. And only recently have I've switched more into documentary filmmaking, and it's just opened up like just so many different artistic possibilities. I feel like that my training as a journalist was amazing for me to have, and just being able to churn out stories. Um, and that training was incredible for me to have that. But with filmmaking, there's just so much more that you can do in terms of just mood and music. And each film I approach differently too. I feel like it kind of tells you how it wants to be filmed. I kind of touched on that already, like with my verite film, like being all handheld with Love Jamie. It was, having these very composed shots. And with the film I'm working on now, it's very messy. It has all this archival home movies that were never meant to be seen by the public. So I'm just kind of leaning into how messy it is. And I just love being able to do that and to cut for emotion and not just for like facts. I feel like it has this possibility of reaching so many more people in ways that that are harder to do, frankly, with news. You can like emotionally move people. And I love that about watching films and documentaries.
Wow, that is pretty awesome. Let me leave with one last thought. As people have a chance to watch your film Love Jamie, what is the one most important take you hope they walk away with?
Well, now that the last card of the film will say that she has been released, I want them to be left with joy. Yeah, just joy for her. And to be left with just like the awe of that this relationship, the awe of their relationship and the power of art to make this relationship even happen. But yeah, but first and foremost, just joy for Jamie.
That's that is certainly going to put smile on people's faces, especially watching this film. Karla, thank you very much for carrying this conversation for us about the Love Jamie. Everyone's going to have a chance to check it out on PBS American Masters in June, right on time for our Pride Month. So thank you very much, Karla. It is a
Thank,
pleasure to meet you.
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.